Hi, hello, and welcome to another video, another training chit chat, and the first video of December. I've redone this intro 3 times. I will not do it just because someone ran straight through me. This is great. I'm not struggling, I promise. But yeah, we are going to talk probably about a little bit about anything and everything, like always, because I apparently incapable of staying on topic. But I thought I was going to talk about the latest blog post and maybe a little bit about the previous two, because I never did talk about that. So yeah, I read through that yesterday. I didn't take notes like I usually do because I was very tired, but I wanted to do a little wintry training chit chat. So we're gonna do that. I have reshade on. We're gonna see if I keep that on for the entire video, because it might annoy me a bit. If you're wondering which reshade I am using, this is Norrland by Kilistan, specifically Norrland Plus. It comes with 2 versions. But I've just turned off the like background blur so that it's more of a playable preset. I'm gonna turn that on after I stop recording, or after I'm done recording. But yeah, so if you want to use this preset, that is the one I am currently using. Yeah, and that, I guess we should get into talking about the blog post. I have the blog up on my phone, but I can't really read and write at the same time, so we'll see. So obviously we're gonna start with November's blog post, which is about the Winter Festival, and we got some more exciting spoilers for March, I guess. So I'm just so excited because it's been so long since we got a new area to the game. It was Wildwoods in early 2021, and this is gonna be released 2026. So like it's been so long. But obviously by the Winter Festival first, both in the blog post and in like the order of, things being released. I am excited for the winter event, but I'm also gonna be honest, I'm not super excited about what they talked about in the blog post. I think it's because I couldn't really understand what they were talking about. Like I think it's very fun with the dialogue style writing, but I also got very confused because and I understand they're not telling us straight up what is going on because they want to keep it a surprise. But it was just very confusing. I understand it's something about gnomes, which is why I have my snowball in my backpack, in my saddlebag. I'm sorry, it's just a weird, there was a weird sound, and I couldn't tell if it was in game or if it was in real life. But it was kind of like a almost electrical sound, so it's probably my headphones. But yeah, I can hear it again, but I couldn't hear it when I removed the headphones. So it's probably me or my headphones. Okay, so I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by that. It's really distracting noise. I don't like it. But yeah, we have the Winter Festival, and I am excited about that. I love the Winter Village, but I do agree with what they said in the blog post about how it's been more like roleplay stuff the last years, and how they want to change that. And I agree. I did mention, I think it was last video, that I want to do a video where I analyze Star Stable and the content we've gotten over the last few years, and just Star Stable, the state it is currently in general, from a game design perspective. Because if you haven't seen anything from me before, I studied game development, game design at university, and am one basically essay or a bachelor thesis technically. I'm one bachelor thesis away from having a bachelor's degree in game dev. And I'm not saying that as being like, oh, I know better than Star Stable. Obviously, no, I don't know everything. But I'm saying that as like, oh, this is a topic I'm very passionate about, to the point I spent 3 years of my life studying it and going into debt. English is not my first language. Debt. To learn about it. And yeah, I want to talk about like Star Stable from a game design perspective. I want to like analyze it specifically from there are a lot of things you can analyze about game design, but about the game design. And also, if you're unfamiliar with gaming terms, maybe I should mention. I feel it's so rude to people who watch a lot of my videos, because I'm always explaining the same thing, but I also know like I didn't know what all the terms meant when I started studying. But if I explained it to you already, it's probably going to be annoying that I'm explaining it again. But I don't know when you're watching how many are like returning viewers or new viewers. So I'm sorry if this is annoying, but brain fart. I want to analyze it. Oh, that was not what I was talking about. So game design is it's a very. This is an interesting bug. Are you seeing that the grass is green underneath the window? Huh. Interesting. It's not a bug. It's a glitch in Reshade. It's not even a glitch. It's like it's because not what we're gonna talk about. But game design is about player experience. So it's both about creating like what the player is playing, like the content. In Star Stable, that could be races, quests, stuff like that. But game design is also about player experience in like making sure the player understands what they're supposed to be doing in all instances, that they don't get confused, that they can understand where to get the information, to navigate menus, a bunch of things. So basically anything that you as a player is interacting with have had a designer work on it. So it isn't about the visual. Well, I mean, it could be about the visual of like the layout of a UI, but then the visual of like what colors are we using and stuff like that, and like the actual like style of it, other than just the layout, that is an artist. So visual stuff is artists, gameplay stuff is designers. That can be a little bit confusing. But I'm a designer, so I don't do any visual stuff. But I want to analyze Star Stable because, like, from a gameplay perspective, like, especially stuff like motivation, how much motivation is Star Stable actually, like, giving to the players? How much does it motivate you to keep playing? Like, what are the rewards you're getting? How is that, like, being portrayed to you as the player? I feel like we have lost a lot of that in Star Stable over the years. Like, there used to be a lot more reputation quests, and then they got, like, easier to do, and, like, there used to be, like, the overnight timers and stuff, and they've been removed, a lot of those. And allegedly, I don't know if I have a great source on this, but allegedly that was because a lot of players like got stuck on those things, didn't understand how to continue, and then like logged off and never logged on again. So obviously, like, me as someone who's obviously played this game for almost a decade, like, I'm obviously not the one to be like, yeah, but like obviously people understand that, because like obviously I'm the one who stuck through that and did understand, and a lot of it I did. I'm also not a great example because I watched so many YouTube videos of people like doing playthroughs of Star Stable before I started playing, that I already knew how a lot of the systems worked, and like if I hadn't had that, I don't know if I would have understood the way the game explained it to me. And yeah, so like they were removed to make make sure that like newer players didn't like drop out of the game. Sure. Like that, for me, that's a quick fix. Then you need to like do like that. You can do that. I mean, like someone I talked about the accessibility. It's like there are quick fixes I would like to see to make the game more accessible. But overall, like I have these like bigger dreams of like control mapping and hand controller support, for example. That could make the game a lot more accessible. But in the meantime, there are other smaller things that could potentially be implemented to make it a little bit more accessible, to bridge the gap before you have like that big project ready. Because obviously making like control mapping would be a new system. It would take a lot of time to create and implement, while maybe just like, as I talked in that video, like adding like hotkeys to the an option instead of using E to interact. If you're steering with the arrow keys, you can use the 1 on the numpad, the same way you can use the 0 on the numpad to jump. Like that could be a in the meantime quick fix to like have something in the meantime while they're working on it. Obviously, I don't think they are working on it, but I would like to see that. And I think the same, like I feel like removing reputation blockers and day blockers, that's like a short in the meantime solution, and now it's been like that for years and years and years and years. That's the one we're gonna do. So yeah, but that's not what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about the winter event. But they did talk about how like there weren't a lot of gameplay and they want to change that, and I agree, because there's a lot of things in Star Step right now where there isn't a lot of gameplay, and that the game is kind of relying on players to create our own fun, and that is playing with friends, clubs, joining community activities that other people are creating. Like there are I've never joined one, but I see a lot of servers there are like trail rides that people join with the community and stuff like that, but the game itself isn't offering that. That's something that we as players are creating for the game. That, this Reshade did really not work in Hollywoods right now when playing. We're not going here then after this. Good to know. I just want snow in game. Honestly, that's what I'm waiting for, the winter event so I get snow in game and the ice. That's what I want. But yeah, we need more playable stuff, and I like that they're looking into the festivals and just not, okay, we have the races, that's not really good enough, we need a little bit more to be motivating. And they're talking about like all the gnome stuff. I don't know exactly what it's gonna be, but they did have some like, I think there's a little bit of a list, didn't they? I'm trying to scroll here. So they say like literally chasing gnomes around. I feel like we did have that previous years, right? When we had to like find the gumdrops and bring them back to the village. But I'm guessing that they've done something new with it, that it's not as annoying, hopefully. And escaped horses, and we had previous to photograph the wild magical horses that were walking around. So I'm hoping this is more of a quest instead of just happening upon something, because a lot of the time I just struggled to find the horses when they were walking around, and then I would just not bother with it. So it wasn't like, sure, it was something that was added, but if I don't know if no one was playing it, but if a lot of people aren't playing it and it isn't actually doing anything. So, ooh, level 11. So guessing what they're trying to say. I don't know if that's gonna be like a mini game trying to figure out what the the gnomes are saying, or the horses. I don't know. That's confusing. We then have pleasing the frightening decorator. He's not here, is he? Okay, so are we going to decorate the village? I don't know. Like a lot of here is just like I have no clue what we're talking about. this is talking about we're gonna get the magical horses, which are talked about later on in here as well. But I also think this is something about like fishing. I think I saw that somewhere. Yeah, how about catching a yummy dinner of truffle, a fishy one that is. So are we gonna get more fishing? I know so many people hate fishing, but I love fishing. Both the old system and the new system that they tried out during the summer haze event. I want it back. I want more fishing. As long as they don't change how much I'm paid. I wanna keep getting paid well. So fishing. I'm getting more fishing. If fishing has 0 fans, I'm dead. I love fishing in this game. I have days to skip it because it's too long to ride, but I love fishing, especially in Golden Hills. Except on Tuesdays. Saturdays I also often skip it, but never skip Wednesdays, Fridays, and Sundays. Those are very good days to fish in Golden Hills. Other than that, we have the magical horses. They're talking about like being inspired by like the sun and the moon, I think. I saw someone posting a spoiler of this without a spoiler warning. But I managed to scroll away, so I only got a little snippet, so I actually don't have it memorized how they look. Luckily, I'm so angry at people just post spoilers, because like that's a great way to get blocked by me, by the way, on social media. If you're posting spoilers, I'm gonna put you as like a do not recommend, because I don't want to see spoilers. And if you're posting spoilers without a spoiler warning, even if I'm not following you, I just get like a recommendation because it's Star Stable. I'm gonna block you because I don't want to see that. Like I'm not gonna judge people who want to see that, but I don't. And sadly, the way algorithms work is like, oh, if people I'm following who want to see spoilers are liking, tracking that, then I'm gonna get recommended that too. So then I'm just gonna, block your account. It's nothing personal. It's just I don't want to see that, especially if you don't have a spoiler warning, or it's just like if it's a reel, then it's like you have the thumbnail of the reel as a spoiler warning, but then nothing in the actual video. You don't, not even like a couple of seconds, which you usually should have a couple of seconds so people have time to scroll away. And then I'm just scrolling and I immediately get spoilers because like when you're scrolling reels, you obviously don't see the thumbnail. You only start seeing the reels, so it's, I don't know. If you want to see reels, I also watch reels. If you want to see spoilers, I don't care. I don't want to see spoilers. I don't enjoy that. So I'm gonna protect my peace of mind. But yeah, so like this photo of the like sun and ice that is inspired, and they talked about like being inspired of the gods Sol and I'm trying to read the article as I'm running a race that's not very good of me. I just said I can't read and write at the same time, and then I try to read and write at the same time. That sounds like a mental skill issue on my part. Okay, now we're gonna see. Sunny winter mornings and quiet moonlit nights. Everything, as she said, the design reminded her of ancient gods Sol and Hati. So I have actually never heard of the god Hati. So I'm gonna have to do some research before I buy the horse to see what I want to name the horse. But Sol I think I've heard of. But it might be multiple gods called Sol also, like, or Sol or Sol could also be. Sol is the Swedish word for sun as well. Who pulled, this is here, like the gods pulled the sun and moon across the sky. So we're gonna have to wait to see those magical horses. Obviously, I'm a magical horse lover. Amazing, perfect. I want all the magical horses. Maybe I should do a video like ranking all the magical horses. Would that be interesting? Like doing like a little tier ranking thingamajig. Because I really, really like magical horses. And we have some great ones, and we have some ones I'm not as interested in, but I do own all magical horses, so maybe that would be interesting. Oh, do I actually want to do the bunny race in this? No. It's the 1st of December when I'm recording this. I'm gonna give myself some peace of mind. I'm not gonna do the bunny race today. And then obviously we have March and Ghast, which I am so excited about. It's been so long since we got a new area. I hope we get... I have so many hopes of like getting quests, of dailies, of reputations. I don't know if we're gonna get reputations though, because usually like reputations don't really give us stuff anymore. But obviously they have been experimenting with other systems of like giving us like gameplay in a way that like is more visual. Like we have another example would be the druid training where we had like the meter bar. I haven't even locked that yet, but and then like a newer example would be Hollow Woods, which is still 2 years old by the way. But Hollow Woods that has the like Mother Stone, like you unlock things almost like a skill tree way. So yeah, like that is still like other ways to have progress unlock, and I'm gonna assume, like, I don't think we're gonna get a reputation, but I'm gonna assume maybe we get something like that, or hoping we get something. I need something to work towards. You need goals to motivate your player with rewards. If I get around to doing that video with an analyze, where I analyze Star Stable, I'm gonna talk more about that. So I'm not gonna get too into the details, but I want to do that. I just don't have the time to do a full-on analysis before the holidays. So I'm unsure if I should start it now or maybe I should wait for March and Ghast to come out before I do it, because maybe a lot of the stuff I say will end up being redundant once that comes out. I'm not sure, but yeah, I'm very excited about March and Ghast. Obviously, it's been so long since we got a new area. Obviously, we have gotten updated areas, but that isn't the same. It's not the same in exploration. We do get to explore something, right? But we usually don't get a lot of new content. Obviously, Hollow Woods was an exception, but when they updated the manor, we didn't get any new content really, and that was, you know, a year ago now. And yeah. Oh boy. I was like, Steve is looking nice, but it's because he usually has a green shirt. I mean, he almost looks dressed up when his shirt is white and not green. Oh, that looked like a X-ray. That was creepy. But yeah, March and Ghast. I'm so excited. I'm excited to get a new home stable, because obviously that's been a while. I'm excited about the vibe. It's supposed to be like more medieval, right? And just look at the photos, but also there were 2 videos about the sound design, and it had like little clips from within the game too, and I'm so excited. I'm so excited about this like dark magic forest, because obviously Hollow Woods is a magic forest, but it's kind of a light magic forest. It's like happy and like cozy. We have all these cute lights, and then I'm hoping like we could still have like wisps maybe, but like they're dark. I don't know. And like they talked about in the previous one about like dark magic creatures, something like the creatures in the forest, and I'm excited because we don't have an area like that in Star Stable. I feel like there were creepy areas in some of the older games, especially like Star Stable Legacy. Obviously we had the like dark core like oil rig platform, and we have it in Star Stable, but it isn't really as creepy. And obviously there's Pine Hill too in the original games. And yeah, I'm just excited about a new area. Obviously very hopeful about new playable content. But also, yeah, let's go to Forkwind. But new playable content. Obviously this screenshots developmental or development photos. That's how you say it. But I'm just very excited. It looks so cool, like the drawbridge, and I am so excited. I can't wait. I imagine next Halloween, and we can take all these creepy photos in Marching Ast. And I'm also like, obviously it is this is a truly medieval place. Like we have the medieval camp, like the medieval event, I guess. Kind of like a Ren Fair, and that's that's a reenactment, kind of. Now we're gonna get like a place that's actually stuck in medieval times, and we're gonna get even more of that medieval fashion. But like, yeah, I'm excited, very excited. The castle looks so cool. I hope we get to go into the castle. I doubt it, but like at some point in the quest, right? Like let me in. Let me into the castle. And see the magic, and yeah, I'm just very excited. It looks so cool. I also like that just like with Spymaster, we're gonna get like an old school horse trailer where it's like a horse-drawn carriage. This is great. This is great. So like I'm guessing we're gonna not gonna see like any tech whatsoever, and it's gonna be like, because we already have places that feel like more historical, right? A lot of places feel more historical in Star Stable, right? Like the only like modern feeling places are Jorvik City and New Hillcrest, I would say. The buildings and stuff are like traditional historical, right? But there are also places where like the clothing is historical, like Dundal. So it's gonna be cool to see how they do the magic and the clothes. And I want to see shops. I want to see so much stuff. It feels like, as someone who started playing in late 2015, I feel like I've never seen the release of an area where there were like a lot of shops to do shopping. Like, I'm trying to think when places release, because I feel like Star Stable, okay, I'm gonna turn off Reshade now, but I feel like Star Stable has had for a few years, it was really trying to pander to newer players, and that's obviously not a bad thing because you need your players to stick around to grow your player base. But it were a couple of years there, like 2017, 2018, maybe 2019, where it felt like older players were entirely forgotten about, and like nothing new to work towards. Whenever stuff is added, it's always added with quite a low level restriction, obviously, so that you can like get your hands on use cool stuff that looks the best. But then there's also like nothing to work towards. So like when you unlock areas, like obviously when you start out, you have, Silverglade when you become a Star Rider, and then the first area you're probably gonna encounter is the northern harvest counties, where there are a lot of stores. And then there's also Golden Hills, also has a bunch of stores, but obviously a lot of stuff there is old, outdated. You probably unlock Southhoof before that, and that you build your stores there, but you end up with quite a few stores. Dino Valley nowadays only have one store. It used to have two when the cultures were around. Epona has a bunch of stores, but most of the stuff in those stores were already old content when the area released, content that you could get through like the winter event, so like there weren't really a lot of stuff to buy there. Mistfall you unlock pretty early, but there aren't many stores there either. There is one by the Rangers, and then I think there's like 3 ones in the village. They have like the cute earrings. That's when we got the earrings for the first time with the feathers. they have the like the berries to have in your saddlebag, and they have the ranger clothing. Broodwood Point has like 2 stores and has a bunch of nice stuff. And then obviously Tailtop Village has a couple of stores as well. We don't have a lot of stuff. But it feels like a lot of time they put, when we get new stuff, it's put like, obviously we have a global store now, but it's put in stores like Silverglade, Moorland, Valedale, like the Horse Sports Center. Like, it's put in areas that you unlock very early. And I understand wanting to give new people access to good looking stuff, but you also need to give people something to work towards. And that is kind of what I want to talk about in my analysis video as well, but meh. Very excited about the home stable. I want to see so many dailies. I want to see... I don't know, I haven't felt this hopeful about Star Stable in a long while. I feel like since like Dundal released in 2016. No, 2017. That was 2017. So it's been like 8 years since I've been like this hopeful about the release of an Aryan game, because obviously after Dundal we had so many years where there were nothing. Like, I've only been at the release... I've been at the release for Southhoof, Jorvik City. I remember being so excited about Jorvik City, and we love Jorvik City. It's like very dead now, but Jorvik City has a bunch of stores too. But a lot of them are kind of empty, but there were a lot to explore and do, even if it's technically quite a small area. So that too. But Southhoof, Jorvik City, Dundal. And then there wasn't another release of an Aryan game until we got Wildwoods in, like, what, late 2020, right? I can remember that, because it was, like, we were excited, but it was also a huge disappointment, because it just, at the time, solidified that we couldn't trust what the Star Stable team was telling us. Like, I'm sorry, I usually keep my videos very positive, but they had at the beginning of, I think it was 2020, said like, oh, there won't be a new release, a new area release this year either. And then there was one. I don't know if it was 2021, but the year that Wildwoods or Redwood Point released, we had been told for multiple years, there won't be a new area, there won't be a new area, there won't be a new area. And then they released one, and it felt like, okay, so we can't really trust. It was a lot of things at the time where it felt like they said something and then they changed their mind and then it went different. And of course, like, you can't change your mind. But there is a point when you're, you know, if it happens enough where, you know, people are gonna start feeling like they can't trust your word, and that is kind of what it felt like back then. I do trust more what they say now. I feel like they're more open and more transparent, both with stuff like the blog post and letting people talk. So like, transparency is bigger now on Star Stable than it was for a while there when I was a little bit younger, and I do trust in what they're saying a lot more now. But back then it did feel like that, like you couldn't trust what they were saying, because they would say something and then a couple months later they would do basically the opposite, even if it was something we wanted, like a new area. But it kind of felt like, yeah, you've been telling us, no, don't hope about it because there won't be a thing, and then you go and do the thing that we, even if we wanted it, it wasn't even a happy surprise. It was more of like, so why didn't you like say it earlier or whatever. Which might sound kind of spoiled, think about, but there were a lot of like small things as well. There were for a long while where we didn't have main story quests, like between I think the 23rd of December 2015 and like some point in maybe like 2018. I don't think there was a single main story quest released in the game, and there was also one of those things where they kept telling us we wouldn't get one, and then it was like, okay, but. So at the time, there were a lot of things where just like, it felt like they would say something, but you can never trust that was actually the truth. And that also meant that people didn't trust when they said things the other way around. Like, I can remember when the fjords disappeared or stuff like that, and it was like, but are we sure it really did? They really are gone forever and stuff like that. So, you know, it was some interesting years to be a Star Stable player, for sure. At least in the Swedish community, I didn't really have any, like, I didn't really follow any non-Swedish Star Stable creators on Instagram or watch on YouTube or anything like that. So, I don't know. And, you know, TikTok weren't really a thing back then. It became a thing when I was maybe like 14. It was called Musical.ly or Musically back then. But it was definitely not something that people posted other stuff than dancing. So like there were no Star Stable TikToks. Because it was just about dancing back then. When I was a teenager, or a young teenager, like before high school. So we're very off topic, but we were talking about Marching Gas, and we got a teeny tiny little photo of the forest, and it looks dark. It looks very misty, and the green mist, and I don't know how I feel about that, because there used to be this like weird mist in like Mistfall and Dundle, and it could be annoying for players, but I do also miss the mist in like Dino Valley, because Dino Valley got it wasn't like how do you say it? It didn't feel as mysterious and magical and like this lost piece of like the world or history anymore when there weren't any fog. But at the same time, I know a lot of people had problems with the fog because they got headaches, so they couldn't like play in those areas all the time. So that's also an accessibility thing, right? Are we going to be able to disable the fog? Because we can't really do that anywhere in the game right now. So is this going to be another area where people are going to get headaches and won't be able to play? So while I love the fog in certain areas because it makes it more mysterious and it heightens my experience, I know there are a lot of people who won't be able to play in those areas then. And then, you know, it's once again, if players, for whatever reason, is not playing the content you added, then the content isn't fulfilling its purpose. It isn't helping to create a better experience for the players. If the players aren't playing it, even if you add it, if it isn't something that the players is interested in, or it's too hard or too annoying, or, you know, it is actively something they can't play because of, you know, physical reasons, like, you know, you get headaches from like when there's too much fog, or, you know, you have other like sight impairments. Is that the English word? I think it is. That makes that harder for you to play. Then, you know, it won't be accessible, and people won't play, and then, you know, not fulfilling its purpose once again. So we'll see. Like, I might like it, but it's an entirely valid thing to say like it shouldn't be there, because, you know, it could be problematic for a lot of players. But yeah, and also at the very end says something about like an old mansion that imagine a creepy old mansion that I heard might be haunted. It also said something about a frozen land. So like, I think that's from the previous one, the frozen land, but I'm like, Frozen Land is probably the Winter Village, but are we gonna get Dino Valley update? I don't think so. Let's not overanalyze stuff here, but I am very excited about it. And we were gonna talk a little bit about last month as well. Obviously, there's no really point in talking about the Black Forest horse at this point. Oh, we do have the sound ones. I can't really talk about those though because my headphones are connected to my PC, so that would be annoying. But you know, you can always go read the blog post yourself. Just Google like Star Stable blog if you don't know how to find it. I think most of you do know how to find it though. But those are very, very nice. But we're going to go back to the October one. And what I'm going to talk about is the closet, because I have thoughts about what they're showing. And obviously, it's a work in progress. But, I don't know if you've seen my closet. I did, like... I have a few videos where I just... Oh, wait, sorry, give me a moment. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Which is why I had to mute the microphone in the middle of a sentence. But the way I've organized my wardrobe in-game is... It is an order of stuff, of, like, when I bought stuff. But what I'm talking about is that, like, I don't use the scroll feature on any page. Because I forget that I have stuff that are in, like, the scroll down part of the page. So I only use the part that is visible without scrolling. And on these new pictures, and I don't know if this is from, like, mobile and that's why it looks that way, or if this is meant to be on PC too, because I already have thoughts about the closet. I never wanted the closet to be like global store, where you have like a little window where you rotate the player and character the way you have now. I never wanted that. A lot of people wanted that. I never did. And then I saw a lot of people who really said they wanted that once it released, being like, actually, no, I don't like this. And I was like, I told you so. It's really annoying, right? Like, the current closet is super annoying. I don't like it. Like, I like that we have more space, stuff like that. I don't like the, like, little avatar scroll thing that's kind of like global store. Like, you know, if you open global store, you know, we have this type of window of only, you know, high resolution in the closet. But also, like, this is actually a good analogy. I don't know the English word. But like to the pictures where like we have not this few slots, but fewer slots like this. And so it's like even further to scroll on each page, I feel like. And then the side tabs are not just numbered, they have like longer names. And I don't like it, because that means I'm gonna have even less space per page. So unless they're gonna give me so many more pages, I'm gonna run out of room. And it's the same thing as I already mentioned. With like, obviously I'm not every player, but I'm talking about my personal thoughts here. Since I will forget to use stuff that is below the scroll part, then those stuff that I bought, they're not going to serve me any purpose if I can't see them. So if I run out of space, I'm just going to stop buying things. Which, you know, means that good for me, I'm going to spend less star coins. Because I won't use them. So they're going to be useless to me. So there's no point in me buying them. Because I'm going to forget they exist and never use them. And sure, I can start putting stuff I already never used, that I only own, because like collector value for me. Like I have the chicken helmets from back when we had an Easter event. I have all of them. I never use those. Sure, I could start putting stuff like that, but like I'm only gonna get so far with that anyway. So yeah, I don't like that. I saw that and I was like, oh no. No, 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 no. You said you were gonna keep improving it? This is the opposite. In my opinion. And I might not be the masses. I probably am not. But I saw that and I was like, no. If you're just gonna make it worse, leave it the way it is. Like, I want remove the rotational window. I want to be able to see my character on top of the horse again, so I can match stuff to... no, I don't feel like doing that. Where should we go? Though, actually. That's a good one. I don't even know how long I've been recording, because I forgot to check the time when I started. You know what? Let's go home. We have more races at home. But yeah, I'm talking about like multi-select, and I do enjoy that idea. Because when I'm like moving stuff, mostly in my items tab, or when I'm like organizing. But most time I don't use, I'm only like taking one item here and there. I'm not moving big chunks. So like it will be useful when I need it. It's gonna be super useful. But most of the time it won't be. But I'm not gonna be like, yeah, we shouldn't have that. But I'm gonna use that obviously every now and then. It's not a bad feature. I just saw those pictures and I was like, no. Unless you're gonna give me infinite tabs, then no, this is worse. And it would still be more annoying because I would have to go to more tabs to see what I wanted to see. Like giving me space to scroll down is not. I know that's something that I've always been against that too. I know a lot of people want to be able to scroll down so they can keep, like, I want to have all my riding pants on the same tab, or I want to have all my helmets on the same tab or whatever. And they couldn't do that because there weren't enough space on one page. But as someone who doesn't organize that way, and I know I'm in the minority, I just put stuff into order, I acquired them, and I usually remember pretty well where stuff is anyway. It took a while after the new wardrobe got that to remember, like, oh, stuff that used to be on page 5 is now on like page 2 or 3, because the pages were still bigger. But at the same time, no, not at the same time. I just lost my train of thought. I don't organize like that. I never have. I just put stuff in and I usually remember where it is. I know that makes me an outlier. But I've never wanted bigger pages. I've always wanted more pages. Because that's how I used the closet. I know a lot of other people don't want that. They wanted pages we could scroll, bigger pages. That's what I know most people needed. That's not what I needed. So I'm not being here like, Star Stable made the wrong choice. No, I like them obviously made the right choice. That is what I've seen, what most people needed. That's what they need to do. But me, personally, I don't want it. I never did. I just wanted more pages so I could continue my system. And if they make the pages, you know, less of it is visible at a time and continue scrolling, then it's gonna just be even more useless to me. Not useless, but it's gonna be less useful again. So yeah, if they give me more closet space, because I'm getting closer to running out again, then yeah. Then I'm gonna be maybe a little bit happy. But if it is the way it looks here, where I still might run out at the same time, because, you know, it's gonna be even less of that space. It's gonna be visible to me, and therefore I'm gonna forget I have stuff. Because I also like remember a lot based on like visual skimming what I have, and I want to be able to do that quickly. So like the stuff I really like, the stuff I use often, I know on a hum, or I know like roughly where it is. Not like with old system where I could be like, my favorite boots are on page 5, just like one row above the middle, like 3 rows to the right of the middle. Like, I know the exact slot. You could ask me, I could tell you that. I can't do that now. If they don't change the UI again for a couple of years, I'm gonna be able to tell you eventually. Doesn't look like I'm gonna have the time to learn that, but I'm starting to learn that too now, about a year later. Again, to relearn where stuff is, based on like that memory. But I just remember where certain stuff has been for like 10 years, that I love using. So yeah, I am an outlier there, but I obviously if they change it, I can't do anything about it. I'm just gonna have to adjust, is the English word, but I'm not a huge fan. Let's just say that. That's fine. You know, you're not gonna enjoy everything that's released. That's life. But yeah, not the happy tone I wanted in this video. You know, I'm very excited about the Marching Gas. I'm excited about the winter event. I'm seeing I know those are work in progresses, and I hope they continue working on it, because I really don't want that. Like, don't make the pages slimmer with more space to scroll. That's so not useful for me. But obviously that's just me. I feel like I'm kind of ready to finish this video. Oh no, that's the wrong key. Let's find a nice place to end this video. I mean, the riding hall is kind of nice, but maybe we should... Let's go over here. Ooh, I don't think I've ever ended or started a video over here. This is kind of a nice space. Yeah. Yeah, let's end this video here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Please let me know your thoughts on, you know, what we've been shown about Marching Gas, your like hopes about the winter event. Tell me what you think about what they showed about the closet and talked about. Obviously I'm gonna assume most people are not gonna have the problems I have with what I've seen, where I'm like, yeah, I really don't want this. I'm gonna assume that's not gonna be most people's stances. So, you know, let me know on that as well. If you enjoyed this video, please consider leaving a like and subscribing if you haven't already. I appreciate everyone who does so very much. It makes me very happy. Thank you once again for watching this entire video, and oh wait, I forgot! If you want to see more from me, you can follow me on Instagram. I am Kaiser Dragon there too, and it's also linked down below in my description box. I post Star Stable photos. I am trying for most of December to post photos twice a day, because I'm way behind on posting my max trained horses of the year, because I have like 15 horses left to post, and I'm gonna train way more before the year is over. So I'm gonna try and do double posts going forward for the entire month. And other than that, I also, have my stories. I will post, repost other people's posts. I will also, every once in a while, post photos of my pets, my cat, my horses, and, when I take walks, I might post, like, nature photos, or, I'll do little unboxings if I bought something very exciting. I recently posted I found a Starshine Legacy comic book from 2005, like perfect condition on Vinted, that I bought. I was so excited. I posted about that. That was a couple of weeks ago, so you can't see that story anymore. But if you want to see more about my personal life, that is on my Instagram story. So if that sounds interesting, consider following me on there. And if you want to see more from me on YouTube, there's over a year's worth of videos on my channel, and I also post new videos every Tuesday and Friday, so you can look forward to that. So yes, now thank you so much for watching this video, and I guess I'll talk to you soon. Bye bye.